So there was a guy who left a comment on one of my last videos. He was asking me about, how he should go about doing his business name and his licenses, his insurance, maybe lawyers is what he said. And I got to thinking about it. There's a lot of aspects to starting a business, and those are actually good questions. If you really don't know what you're doing and you really don't know how to start, it's important to get an idea how to proceed when you're on square one. So I'll start and keep it simple. The first thing is, let's talk about a business name. You can either do business in your personal name, or you can get what is called a DBA, which means doing business as, whatever name you choose. If you want to look professional, you should have a DBA, because once you have that, you can go and get a business account, you can get insurance in the business name, you can get cards made, and then when you're doing business, you say, write me a check, you give them the card, they write the check to the name on the card, and you go deposit it in your bank account. Even with your phone nowadays, it's so easy. But one thing I would tell people about a business name, you need to think a little farther than something catchy or something that you think sounds cool. Be practical. Think about the company, you've all heard of 3M. Based on the name 3M, what do? It means nothing, which means every single expense that 3M has, they can write off on their taxes, which you'll inevitably pay. So start thinking ahead. If you get a business name that means nothing, it doesn't keyhole you. An accountant can't write off a t-shirt machine or a lawnmower or a tractor or a chainsaw because he's an accountant. How can you justify that? So take a business name that means nothing. 3M, L2, K6. There's a bunch of them out there, and it's really smart to do that. Then the next thing, and the way you get your DBA is you can go to the state and you can just say, you can get online. Go to the state website and register a business name, a fictitious name for your business. And then when you register the name, you get a copy of it, you print out the screen, then you go to your bank and say, here's my doing business as, I need a bank account, a business bank account. Then you get your commercial business bank account. And then you get your cards made, and then you can transact, okay? The next thing he was asking about was license. Okay, so the thing about licenses is, depending on where you're at, there are different jurisdictions that require licenses. The state might want a license for anybody doing business in the state. The county might want the same. The city might want the same. You really only need to do, in my opinion, it's your decision, it's your business. I'm not telling anybody to do anything that's against the law or anything that is, not kosher. But here, think about this. If you have a state registered business name and you have a business account, and let's just say you even have insurance, unless you're working in a specific location where they're going to inspect you and ask you for a business license, where you're just hanging out to get busted, you don't necessarily have to spend money on that. Some counties don't even have a business license. Okay? So look at what's required and do the bare minimum. And if there's someone you can finagle not getting your name on another piece of paper for the government, try to not do that. That's just what I would consider doing. And another thing about, when you get your license, they're going to ask you what kind of license. What do you do? What does your business do? Are you a bakery? Are you a laundromat? Are you a mechanic? What are you? Well, like I mentioned before, pick something that is extremely open to interpretation. In my state, there's actually a box at the bottom of the list you can check that says any and all legal commerce. Now, why would you check any other box if you can say that you do any and all legal commerce? That means when you buy a new tractor for your yard, you do landscaping, part of your business. That's a tax write-off. You buy a big new barbecue. That's a write-off. Why? Because I entertain guests when they come over for this other thing that I do. You can justify anything as a tax write-off if you can legitimately claim it's part of your business model. So don't keyhole yourself into a business name or a business license that restricts your ability to take advantage of that when tax time rolls around, because you're going to be wanting the option to save money, promise you. As far as insurance goes, that really depends on what you do. I happen to have insurance, and some of the companies that I've done business with, they want $1 million liability. Well, that sounds like a lot, but it's really only about, I think it's about $1,500 a year. It's not that expensive, and there are a lot of factors that affect how much it costs. How many employees do you have? Do you operate, 12,000 horsepower machinery? Do you fly airplanes over residential neighborhoods? Okay, they're going to ask you a bunch of questions. Ideally, what you want to do is something like, well, I'm a car detailer. Because there's not a whole lot of liability there unless maybe you wreck somebody's car. I don't know, think it through, but the insurance might be required by the companies you want to do business with. And by the way, if somebody ever calls you and they say, hi, is your company insured? I want to come get a quote, hang up. They want to sue you. Just a note there. Why would they be asking something like that unless they want to take advantage of your being insured, right? Weihenstephan, an imported German Hefeweizen. Wow, so good. So insurance might be required. And as far as he said, even lawyers, why would you get a lawyer, bro? You only want a lawyer if you're charged with a crime or someone's trying to sue you and taking you to court. If I was stranded on an island, I wouldn't want a lawyer with me. They're useless, okay? Everything you need to do to start your business, you can do on your own, and it's really not that hard. So get a business name that lets you be flexible, register it with the state, $50, $100, whatever. It's not that much money, and it's pretty easy. You can do it all online. Then go get your business account. Then if you have to get a business license, go down and get it. Again, say you do something that has low liability, small footprint, low exposure. You want to be like a deer in the woods running your own business. Look, this is the Great Reset. If you would have asked me this question 2 or 3 years ago, you would have probably gotten a slightly different answer. But think about it. We have a government now that has gone over the last 2 years everywhere trying to shut down businesses, telling people they can't go to work. If you had a restaurant downtown, you're done. If you open it up, they write you a ticket, and if you argue with them, they beat your brains out and take you to jail. This is getting crazy, folks. So if you're going to try to start a business now, you really want to have a super light footprint. Okay? And I'd recommend, the more paperwork you do, consider the fact that you're getting tied in with the government half the time, licenses and business names and stuff. Because really think about this. I mean, go back to when you were in high school. Everybody knew the weed dealer kid. He didn't have a business license. He didn't have insurance. He didn't have a business name. He just sold weed, got cash, made money, and moved along. If you can run a business like that, why don't you start making your money? I'm not saying sell weed. What I'm saying is whatever you do, if you can run your business like that and just focus on making your money and getting your business figured out before you start jumping through a bunch of hoops. If everybody pays you cash, why do you need a bank account? If everybody shakes your hand and they know you and you're referred to them, why do you need a business license? All that stuff comes into play when other complications get involved, when things go wrong. But as far as just setting it up, it's not that hard. Get your business name, get your license, get your insurance, and just go to an insurance company. Hey, I need to get insurance. This is what I do. How much is it going to cost? The license, you just go to any government office. You can go do it online. You can do almost everything online now. And I would just suggest that keep it as simple as you can, spend as little money as you can, and frankly, you might want to consider waiting as long as you can before you even start doing this stuff. Get your tools. Get your business lined up, start getting your customers together, start getting a referral base. I ran a business once upon a time, years ago in another state. For years, I was hustling out of my garage and I was running a dump truck. I didn't even have a CDL, man. I was starving for a while and I said, I need to start making some money, and it worked. So I just did it. Never had insurance, never had a CDL, never had a business license, anything. Eventually, they came and messed with me. Which brings me to another point. If you are going to be legit and above board, do it all the way. And if you're going to try to fly under the radar, do that all the way too. One wing above the radar doesn't help you. Here's the example. So I was working out of my place. This was in Oregon years ago. And the cop came by because the city councilman noticed that I looked like I was doing something in my yard. Even though I had 2 acres and I was out of town, didn't matter. He wanted to stick his nose in my business, sick the cop on me. Cop comes out and he says, hey, we know you're running the business, so you need to get your business license or we're going to have to write you a ticket. I said, hey man, I'm not running the business. I just, got a hobby and I just kind of stay busy and do my own thing. He said, look, man, a business license is only $40. Just go and get your business license and they'll leave you alone. And I thought, we're having this conversation over a $40 business license? Okay, no problem. Next Monday, went down, gave him $40, registered a business license, said I was a detail shop, right? The next week, they sent another cop down. And he goes, I'm here to write you a $10,000 fine. It was $5,000, I think. A fine for not being in compliance with your requirement to have a conditional use permit. And we know you have a business because you have a business license. So think about how things can go wrong. If you're going to do it right, do it all the way right. And if you're going to try to slip between the cracks, do it all the way and be smart about it. So that's just my bad advice. Other than that, keep it simple. Good luck. Working for yourself is still always the best thing. And, more power to you. The last couple of years, I got really busy, got some employees, and I just kind of thinned it out, and the employees are gone, and I'm slowing it back down because I really don't want to stay that busy anymore. There's more to life than just running your business, but your life's a lot better if you run your own than work for somebody else. So good luck with all of that, and I hope that you succeed in everything you try. Take care.